Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala barakatuh. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Alhamdulillah, in the previous video I have given you some idea of the number of models that are available in terms of life coach. So I have just selected one, and we'll give you more models later on as we go along with more of the life coach tools. So the model that we discussed yesterday was this growth model, GROWTH. This is an acronym, mnemonic of G is for goals. So we must be able to help those whom we coach to find some purpose and meaning in terms of their goal. R is for them to do a reality check in terms of their current reality. What are the challenges they are facing today, and how we can then find tools in terms of reality check. O is what are the obstacles they are facing and what are options available to them in that current situation. W is what are the way forward, or how they're going to implement their will. All right. T is how are the tactics available that you can teach them so that they can then follow your coaching hierarchy. And then H is how you're going to develop positive good habits of being a true Muslimin, of Muslimat, of being a Khalifah of Allah on this earth, of being an achievers in life, and so on, and so many of those things that you have to do so that you give them a viable result, a result based on what we call the GROWTH, growth model. So what we need to do is also we need to understand in terms of mode. So because as life coach we facilitate personal transformation, we are here as a teacher of personal transformation. So this personal transformation involves 4 levels. In Islam we have the 4 levels of personal transformation. We have mentioned to you the 4 hierarchy in terms of S, E, M and P. That means the 4 hierarchy of our being within Islam, alright, is spiritual, emotional, mental and physical. So this is our ruh, our qalb, our akal and our jasad. So the 4 domains, alright, needs transformation so that we can help them achieve success in life. So what are the modes in which we go about doing our coach? So because our PIP, Positive Psychology Life Coach, we facilitate personal transformation, personal growth, and we're trying to give you an idea of how to be an achiever in life. That means you achieve something in life. You are just not being a passenger in this life, or you're just being living and dying just without no meaning and no purpose, but having a higher vision, mission and achievement in life. So when you do your coaching, you have various modes. Alright. So the first mode that we are talking about is motivational mode. You are motivation. The motivation mode means you are motivating them, encouraging them, and I've given you the 6P, G and L motivation model which you can use. So those tools will then give you a hierarchy of how to motivate a person who is not motivated, because if they are not motivated you cannot do anything. So you must build up the necessary internal resources within them to want to achieve something in life, a goal in life. So that is the motivational mode. Alright, then you also, as a life coach, you have to do the training mode. A training mode is quite obvious. For example, if you are a football coach, what you do, you train your trainees to play better football. So you are training, but training alone without motivation will not work. So you have to have the motivational mode plus the training mode. Alright, so you have this training mode. Alright, but then training mode also will not be good, because good coaches will have the mentoring skill. Alright, so they mentor this individual to become a high achiever. For example, the best footballer in the world, or if they are going to develop this person to be the best, for example, scientist or researcher, whatever it is. So you mentor, so you have this mentoring skill. And then finally you have the coaching mode, counseling mode. This counseling mode would be life coach have to resolve whatever problems, whether it is personal fear, pain, depression, anxiety, worry, sense of meaningless, purposelessness in life, and so on. So when you see this, then you see that there are 4 modes at least. This is just a basic rough idea of how you as a coach must holistically integrate in your coaching the 4 mode. The first mode is motivational. I've given you the more than 30 videos there. 6PGNL. You have to also develop the training mode. So I'm going to give you tools in terms of training, and then mentoring, we're going to come later, and then counseling mode. So when we talk about personal transformation, we must be able to understand from the Islamic perspective that is, we have, for example, spiritual need, emotional need, mental need, and physical need. But normally when we talk about the position of generally humanity, including Muslims, at this level, all right, in the 21st century, they are more tuned towards the physical needs. So the P is very dominant in their life. It is like, for example, oh, I'm too fat. What they're talking about, the body is fat, so I'm obese. So they're talking about the physical need. Or I don't have good sex life with my wife or my husband, so that is a physical need. Or I want a better car, that's a physical need. Or I want to have more money, all right? Or I want to have good health. So the wants is now driving everything. So when you are just driven by this alone, all right, disregarding the spiritual, emotional, and mental need, then you become a very hollow, very shallow human being. And unfortunately, that is what the propaganda in terms of advertising, the whole food industry, the luxury good industry, and all that, is as if giving you the idea that if you don't have a so-called handbag costing a few thousand ringgit, expensive handbag, you carry the handbag with that logo as if you feel great having that stuff, and it costs you maybe 10,000 or 20,000 ringgit. It has no meaning. Or you have a car that is flashy with all the color. Actually, in psychology, you only enjoy it only for a few days. After that, it has no meaning and no purpose. But the nafs, the ego within us, is being driven by the whole societal pressure in this 21st century. So you are not a successful person if you don't have a good car, or you don't have a good house, a big house, or something special. So your specialness now, in terms of this dunya, is wasteful, and it is not going to give you happiness in the sense, because you can't say that having all the physical amenities make you happy. People who have the best physical amenities are the most sad, the most troubled people in the world. So we have simple people living in the desert. For example, you have Muslims, they are always smiling. All right, they're living in the desert, they're having their feeding, their cows or their goats, drinking milk, having a good simple life. All right, studying the Quran, going to the madrasa, coming back, discussing about the fine points of Aqidah or the fine points of al-Mufiq and so on. And they're poor. They are even poorer than a typical American living in the slums. But they have a higher hierarchy in terms of their vision and mission in life, because they understand Islam from the perspective, the holistic perspective of the enhancement of our spiritual elevation of our spirituality, elevation of our emotional in terms of muhabba and love, and our mental in terms of our akal. So once we tune this, then our need for this world physicality will come down, and our need for the SEM will go up. And if this is the way in which we can coach, then we can achieve, as I mentioned earlier, sa'adah, because the life of every Muslim, as you follow this deen, is a life of sa'adah, not a life of shakawa. Shakawa is fear, worry, intense depression or anxiety, thinking of bad things happening to you, not being able to get something physical, and so on. So those are the shakawa lifestyle of this 21st century, and we are creating the most depressed humanity in the world today because of the influence of social media, advertising, the so-called film star way of life, pop pop idols and so on. So we are being influenced, and our young people look at life just from this perspective. All right? So what is important is that we try to elevate them, because you cannot run away from the physicality of things, okay? So slowly you bring them to a little understanding of the needs of their akal in terms of what is in terms of their studies, in terms of learning something at a higher hierarchy of need in terms of the mental development, intellectual development, having a good hobby in terms of learning, finding new things, creativity, invention, design, metaphysics, you name it, philosophy, whatever. And then you bring the muhabbah. The qalb is always filled with love. Love for Allah, love for the Prophet, love for themselves, their family, love for society, love for humanity, love for all creatures on this good earth. So we feel the connection, because if we don't have that muhabbah, we cannot feel the suffering or the difficulties of others. So when we build that up within ourselves, then we are building up our level of sa'adah, and then finally understanding of our ruh, of how we can develop, because the SEM is our nafs or ourself, the soul, or you can call it the soul or the nafs or the self in its various domain or mode of operation in terms of understanding the basic of Islamic metaphysics. This is all within the deen of Islam. This is within the aim that we do, usuluddin or tasawwuf or adab, and how we nurture those who we are coaching to develop a higher and higher level of understanding, so that when we develop the goal, the G, that I'm going to give you more tools on the goals inshallah in the next video, you can understand. We are not talking about just being a football coach. We are not talking about being just a motivator. We're not talking about just making money, because you can see a lot on YouTube. Oh, you do this, you become a millionaire in 6 months. Oh, you do this. It's all fakery. It's all just hype. It's all just what we say, something that is just money making for those who are doing that. It is motivational, no doubt. It looks good, sounds good, but it is a fake. Just like I have a friend who says, all right, you look around you. So I look around and we saw that there were a lot of decoration in terms of the Christmas decoration. You see, it's all those plastic lights are glittering and all that. He said, this is the dunya. This is the plastic heaven. You know, you don't have the real heaven. What is the real heaven? Jannah, in terms of river flowing and so on. That is a symbolical perspective from the Quran. But you see all those things in the big city. They put this glittering thing and people walking in awe of the plastics of the things that we have. So we have a plastic lighting, we have plastic bags, we have plastic cars, we have plastic everything. They are destructive, artificial, not real. So we are leading a life of a plastic dominated life, which is going to destroy us. If we talk about plastic, we can talk a lot of the evils of terms of what has happened to this 21st century when we are overwhelmed by plastics, even until our ocean become dead. All right, but these are philosophical questions. At a higher level, we can interact. Those who wants to understand this from the perspective of ecology, of a balanced life, of permaculture, and so many things, inshallah, that we can then develop and groom them to have a better perspective, a positive perspective of life, for them, inshallah, to understand their purpose and meaning in life is to be the Caliph of Allah, always striving to make themselves good, helping others to be good, and making the world good, inshallah.